Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. This is a review of Onward, the new Pixar movie. Filming the movie's up there in Emeryville. Up the road. Which is Little Hollywood from back in the day before they moved down Hollywood. Yeah. Also, Lucasfilm is not far here, on the other side of the bay. Anyway, so so this is the Onward. Yeah, it's I joked online on the channel. The channel at the Stone Gremlins did a review of this movie yesterday, and or maybe it was the day before yesterday, and I commented yesterday that it's Brotherhood of the Traveling Pants, and got like several responses to that. That was pretty funny. It basically is. If you're at all familiar with a movie from about 15 years ago called Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, based on a book series for girls, they had this magic pants that they carried about, and they would wear the pants. I guess they all fit in them for some reason, because I guess they're all girls, so they weren't like filled out or anything in the pants. Kind of strange idea, but yeah. So this movie takes place in a universe where it's like EverQuest or something, or Elven Quest or whatever, because they can't call it Dungeons and Dragons. This movie is basically a better Dungeons and Dragons movie than Dungeons and Dragons from 2001. Way better. In the universe of the story, half elves, orcs, and minotaurs, and paladins, and all kinds of things, mages and whatever, live in a society where they have invented technology and evolved and forgotten about magic, except for some of them, and they live in a suburban lifestyle. Which does not sound at first interesting, although the fact that they're half elves and orcs is kind of interesting. But actually, it is. It was fun. I do have an older brother. I can kind of relate to that, but considerably older though. So it's like not really the same. Late father as well, but that was we all knew him up until he was in his 80s. I guess the Walkers liked the movie. Their brother's closer in age. Half brother is 20 years older than me, so it's not. There's not really. Yeah, not really. The brother movie. The premise of the film is that we have the stereotypical mother character. She looks like two of the characters from Our Real Monsters from back in the day in the Nickelodeon. She plays the character. Also, she kind of resembles Thelma from Scooby-Doo, which they showed a preview for the Scooby-Doo movie as well. She also resembles one of the Real Monsters people, which Pixar has been borrowing from for years anyway. So this movie is basically another All Real Monsters movie. Their first attempt at an All Real Monsters movie without permission from Nick was Monsters, Inc., which literally has 5 characters from Nickelodeon's All Real Monsters in it, including the Froggy Lady. It's literally the Froggy Lady. I don't know how they got away with that, but they did. And they had a snake guy, and they had another guy in the University sequel. And Sully, and there's an eyeball guy. Yes, there's an eyeball guy. So, and there's a monster too, a hairy monster. So this one has the other side of the All Real Monsters. Why don't they just get together with Nickelodeon and make an All Real Monsters movie, and then they can have synergy. Anyway, this is clearly like a Dungeons and Dragons love letter. Clearly, the fans that is and the cartoon Dungeons and Dragons as well. The cartoon was good in the 80s. P.T. Docter, the director, is clearly a fan. A producer is really a fan. The director was somebody else. The short beforehand was produced by Dave Silverstein from Pine Hill fame, On Location fame. So So I can watch that one and check that out. Yes, somebody I knew. Yeah, so that's pretty weird. But this one was not directed by someone. Although back in the day, there was a Halloween party in town down here, and there were some animators that worked for Pixar across the street, and we went to we crashed their Halloween party, saw a wolf dancing around, and some other weird stuff. And it turned out they were working on then a little known movie was in production called A Bug's Life, and they had all the stuff on the walls and everything. There was some Toy Story stuff on the wall too. Toy Story 2, I believe, sequel. Yeah, but they were working on A Bug's Life. But yeah, they've since moved. So there's been other Pixar stuff too. They've gone to San Jose State when we were there, and they were doing other stuff back then, and Cars. Yeah, one of them was Cars. Yeah, so and yeah, more recently, we don't have any connection to this one, but we had sort of a pseudo connection to Good Dinosaur. So we got to see that. Yeah, but yeah. But not this one. We had nothing to do with this one. It was just weird because you'd think it'd be right up our alley. Anyway, so yeah, it's it was fun. So the premise of the story is that the character's father died like years earlier, and on the kid's 16th birthday, they're played by adults. They're clearly not children playing the roles. They got sounds like they got Chris Pratt playing the brother. He's like 35, but something like that. Well, that's not how old they're supposed to be. It's just that casting adults as children. And the mother from Real Monsters. Yeah, so we have, so we have, so basically it's his 16th birthday, and the mother pulls out this present, and it's a wizarding staff with a jewel in it, like a gem. And it grants them the ability to resurrect their father for a day using magic. Except the spell goes wrong, and they resurrect just his pants and his feet. And his like glowing like lower half like wandering around. Not his junk, his pants and his yeah. And oops. And so they have to drag the pants around, which they then stick a coat and a hat onto and go on their little quest in the van. And of course they have a 70s hippie band. Because apparently this takes place in, I guess, the 80s or something. And I think it's actually a throwback because they referenced cassette tapes, and they look like cassette tapes. There's the dad tape and there's the rock tapes. So it's like maybe the 80s in the story. That's in terms of what's the around D&D time. Yeah. So mage in training kid and his brother who's obsessed with their version of D&D. They keep calling it Wizard's Quest, but it's D&D. The one EverQuest. They keep going on. They're going to go on this adventure. They giving away plot points. They're on a quest. They go the wrong way. They end up encountering these evil fairies. They meanwhile the mother's looking for them, and she goes to she's on their trail. There's a minotaur that's there's also a centaur cop guy who is basically the bumbling cop from like the Paul Blart a little bit. Not sure what they were going for with that one, but as a horse, Paul Blart as a horse, horseman. Yes, so we have not sure what's going on there. So Brotherhood of the Traveling Pants continues they mess up a spell that makes one of them go tiny, makes the big giant brother guy tiny. They go into a gas station, and there's these biker fairies flying around, and actually they're running around, but they fly around later. on a motorcycle. Some of them are able to drive motorcycles. Because it would be funny if they were tiny. So yeah, that's it. Pixie fairy things. Before the Pixie fairy thing, though, out of sequence. Before the Pixie fairy thing, they go to the pub. That's the Manticore pub. There's a Manticore in it. They go to the Manticore pub, and there's which is a Chuck E. Cheese, except it ends up turning into Five Nights at Freddy's, because the Manticore lady decides that she should be evil, or at least help them out. So not evil, but a warrior again. Yeah, more of a warrior again. But she trashes her own place. But she didn't want to give her the map. Doesn't want to give them the map to go and find questing up on the hill and find the thing. I guess the birds in that universe don't exist anymore, so they're heralded as idols and things. In a similar way to Starcrackers, in which Azloth people come from a planet where there aren't any birds, and they also venerate birds, which is interesting. Similar ones too, ravens and crows. Oh yes. So there's a little Kal Kat in the story. That's interesting. Little marked cards in there. I don't think we had anything to do with it, but it is interesting that it has on the same wavelength of Pine Hill. People clearly wrote this, or somebody like that, which is awesome. Gamer nerds. Gamer nerds. So yeah, they followed the trail. I mean, if everything was on fire, which would have burned it down. Chuck E. Cheese. The mother and the Manticore lady team up and she's basically right out of Unreal Monsters as well, which was taking off from D&D as well. So she's a character from literally D&D and Unreal Monsters. She literally, like, they're same name even, I think. I think so, yeah. And they could reference the works of David Weber as well and say it's a Manticore fleet if they wanted to, which would be funny. Yeah, so they could do that, because he clearly was a D&D fan. And we have they're going on a quest and gets bungled. The brother gets shrunk, but he gets re-enlarged, and then they go the wrong way, and they go to this like endless bridge. And they got to cross it, and he's got to go out on the rope and cross the bridge, but he's got to use magic to cross the endless gorge. And the rope's gone halfway there, and he gets across it, and then opens the drawbridge, and then realizes that was going on. So we end up with this weird sort of. He's constantly, and then they have to pretend at one point to be the cop guy because they get pulled over by other cops. And they reveal that the brother thought has to tell the truth. So he calls him a screw up, but it's like part of the act. But really, they are screw ups. So why is the other guy mad? Because they are screw ups. They're slackers. Clearly, they shouldn't be mad about that. They should be like, oh yeah, totally, dude. Here, have the space weed. Actually, they don't mention the space weed in it. They probably should. Yeah. So, but yeah. It's clearly the older brother is a stoner. He's just not pretending. But yeah, they just don't mention it. Yeah. They live in mushroom houses at one point, so they basically like stole them from the Smurfs. Yeah. So. So they have to go on their quest, and they have to go to the Eagle's Point thing, Raven's Point, I think is what it is. Yeah, and they find out that it's in different places, and it all leads their quest back to home, where they do float away down a river on a Cheeto. Clearly the producer's a giant Cheeto that's been inflated with magic, and then they keep referencing the gelatinous cube. It's gonna eat them. That's pretty funny. So yeah, the Jello salad from Silly Trek, Starship Locations, is literally a thing in this movie. So clearly these guys not only have somehow read the Cillian stories, they have, or are on the same wavelength, but they clearly reference stuff from. So I was looking in the credits to see if anybody from our high school was in this movie, because it was weird. It's like, no, yeah, a few of them that could be if they got married and be having a different last name, maybe. Some of them in the credits, in the production, supervising producer, writers, and stuff like that. Or if they or their children or something. But yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, so. So they have to fight a dragon that's made out of the stone from their school that got demolished, which they borrowed from a number of other things. The dragon's kind of an original chimera kind of thing going on. Chimeric dragon. That's D&D too. Direct reference to chimera, of course. Yeah, they've been waiting for that for years, so they know about that. Yeah, that's on the internet. Except it's a ship in the story, but yeah. In the game, it's a chimeric dragon, so it's from the game. Yeah, it's a creature. They got to defeat. The mother becomes a warrior and defeats it. She was kind of like a warrior ogress. Oh, there's a gag in there, that a laugh out loud gag. There's involving a troll bridge, and it's literally a troll. That was funny. This thing has nothing but dad jokes in it. People laughed. It's like, yeah, it's got dad jokes in it. All over the place. Not a dad, but I can appreciate dad jokes. It was funny. God. It was horrible. Bad joke. But yeah, that was in there. The draw thing being in the whole the dynamic, the interplay between the two actors. I think how they did this is they did a lot of motion capture. Because a lot of the credits at the end, it says like a lot of it was very visually like normalized looking, like for The Good Dinosaur, where they used a lot of backgrounds and things from other places that were semi-realistic. So, and then modeled over them. So there's a lot of places and sets and settings and things, cartoonish but realistic looking. So you have this, but yet the people in it are ogres and elves, half elves and mages. So the people in it don't look realistic, but environment looks realistic. And some of the effects were really amazing for their time. It has taken. So I see Toy Story 4 was last year, but there was only one Pixar movie last year, and the year before there wasn't one, and then Coco before that. So it has been a while, and it was only one last year. So we have. Yeah, Toy Story 4, or it was Incredibles 2 was the beginning of the year. So yeah, they tried to put out 2 Disney Studios / Pixar movies a year, and the last couple of years has been a little lenient on that. It's been like, they've skipped over a little bit. But we have, yeah, yeah, I don't want to give the whole thing away. Anyway, they have to bring the father back, but his pants. There's a lot of visual gags with doing the Weekend at Bernie's thing. Weekend at Bernie's was a movie about a corpse that got reanimated. That's what it was. It had nothing to do with any Bernie's an office or anything. It was a guy, Bernie. Yeah, Sister of the Traveling. But that didn't have a corpse. That had pants. So yeah, he somehow gets the confidence to be an official magic person and fix things and get confidence very quickly, but he's a creature, so alright, if he's a magical creature, then sure, he's not a human, he's a creature that acts human. Then suspend disbelief enough, because you have other movies with toys and ants and cars, and it's like, okay, maybe this character can do that because it's an animated movie. Sure. Yeah, it's a very good animated movie. There's really nothing really wrong with it. Sure. This is one of the better ones of the year so far, Onward. I just saw it, so yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I think it got 89-90% of Rotten Tomatoes. I'd say that's about right. 4 stars. Why not? Yeah, it's that good. I liked it a little better than Toy Story 4. Yeah, so it's a solid B plus A minus kind of thing. I think that, yeah. So yeah, I think the only way that it isn't officially an A plus and the 5 stars and bigger, it just didn't quite. It's not 5 stars. It's not Oscar worthy or anything, but it is interesting, visually interesting. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, go and see Onward, Pixar's Onward, in theaters. The short was a short about Maggie from The Simpsons because they bought out The Simpsons. Directed by David Silverstein from Pine Hill. Same guy. And yeah, so that's weird. I didn't know he was doing The Simpsons, but I guess he is. It might be a different guy because David Silverstein could be a common name, but that would be remarkable. Maggie has a crush in it. Maggie is the baby character that constantly sucked its pacifier since the beginning of the show in 1987. So she's gotta actually be like by now. So 1987, it's now 2020. She's got to be in her she's got to be in her 30s at this point, easily. She's got to be like 33 years old at this point, 35 even. And The Simpsons got to be like ancient, and yeah, so she's just like a midget or something. I don't know. But yeah, the other Simpsons characters don't seem to age either, like the Peanuts. The South Park kids, I don't think ever left the 4th grade. I'm not sure. Maybe they got to the 5th grade, but yeah, it took them forever to get to the 4th. But Maggie Simpson has been a baby for 35 years. Or 33 years, I guess. Because she technically was 2. Anyway, so yeah, so the previews were kind of unexciting. Oh, there's a Scooby-Doo preview where they mentioned Dick Dastardly as younger. There's a Gru movie preview. Another Minions movie, yeah. They did throw a Kal Kat line in there just to